Masculine Pulse. Let me just talk about the male experience on observation. From young, we talk about, when a boy learns about love or infatuation, you want to call it, is that most guys, when they fall in love, especially early love, and it could be said the same thing about ladies as well, young girls as well, in the early stages, it's a deep felt love, right? It's a deep felt love. So he's all in, he's obsessed, and usually in the early stages of that courtship, even if it's young love, guys will want to buy things. It's very emotional because you're just figuring women out. Okay? So, one thing you start to observe as men progress, boys to men, and girls to ladies, to women, progress through life, you learn that the male experience is that he learns to recover. When a man is hurt, he does not move to the next relationship. Now, of course, some ladies will argue, no, there's always a rebound chick and all that stuff. But most men, what they do when they're wounded, they sit there down for a long time wounded, like a wounded soldier, shot in the belly. You're laying there with both your hands pressed on the wound, trying to figure out how to best heal that wound. And that's what happens. You see a man, he's dating a girl, all of a sudden he discovers that she's going with somebody else. He's wounded, he's hurt, takes time away from all of that. He's hurt, he cannot move, he's injured, recovers over a period of time. And then he attempts again. Okay? He attempts again. Maybe you meet somebody else, high school, and let's say she ends up dating the teacher in high school. He is wounded because you know how women will move from one man to another one as long as the better has presented itself. So the male experience is that when he's wounded, he does recollect himself. He has to be injured. He has to calculate and he has to reassess how did I move in that situation. So he's recovering. The highlight is the recovering. You take a girl to a club, maybe you didn't calculate what type of girl she was. You find out she's making with somebody else who's maybe popping bottles. She's in the section now, and you're going home by yourself. Maybe you even pay for a transport to come to you. Pay for a flight. You're wounded, completely wounded. And of course, you have to control your anger. You can't just retaliate. And then you recover. That's the male experience. There's a recovery period. And that's why you meet when men are older, they have been injured in all types of ways. They have been hurt in all types of ways. So now they move very differently. If you look at the women, they tend to always be in relationships. When a woman is leaving a man, she's already got somebody else. By the time she says goodbye, oftentimes the man has already observed that she's been checked out for the longest time. She's being checked out. So I have been around cousins, aunts, friends who us by the time they're leaving or they break up, even my own relationship when it didn't work out, women already got the next one. The next one is always there, and I feel like, unfortunately for us as a society, women have way more backups now, or even the illusion of a backup. Because the thing is, just because a woman will happily sabotage a relationship that is sound for an illusion because there's guys in the DM. There's guys in the DMs who look like they got it going on. Social media, you can present however you want to present. So there's guys, in her DMs, especially if she's heavy on social media, um, who are DMing her every morning, good morning, and she likes it. She does not cut it off. So she might be in a relationship with you, and you are in love, and she declares all that to you, all that good stuff that we love to hear as men. But she's entertaining that because that type of attention you can't give her. That's what social media does. It feeds, it's like having multiple drips of that adrenaline, of that rush, of that excitement, dopamine rush, whatever, caffeinated, caffeination, So she loves that. She cannot live off that. So that element you cannot compete with as a man. So she's getting that all the time. So by the time when she leaving you, she already got that. She's not, there's no deficit for her. So that's why I think that when there's a true drop into attractiveness for a woman, They're a lot more bitter because they've never really recovered. Men become more calculative because now, and especially men as they get older, they no longer, they don't have this high testosterone no more. So they're not really moved by the sexuality, and they've learned that just because she's got a big smile and a big booty doesn't mean she's good for you. They've learned that, so they're moving very differently, very calculative. They've recovered a more balanced, healed person. Ladies, on the other hand, because they've never been out of a situation long enough to say, where did I go wrong? Because oftentimes ladies will just label the man, that even if a lady did the wrong to the man, she'll label that he was the one at fault. I rarely hear ladies admit fault. Okay, men oftentimes, man, I was drinking too much. I was just doing too much. I was moving. Like men, I've been around a lot of men circles where they'll admit their fault in the marriage. They'll say, I did that, but she didn't have to cheat on me, and so forth. Ladies will say he was narcissistic, especially these days. And other lady friends of hers will applaud her because we don't have a village no more. We don't have a community. They'll applaud her for, oh, you're so brave, you survived. And if she doesn't have that, well, she'll take it to TikTok. And TikTok has got toxic individuals that I've made bad decisions, but they're not going to admit that. So the point is, the male experience is about, you're wounded, you recover. You reassess what you did wrong in that situation. You're wounded, you recover. There's time periods in that situation where you grow as a man. A lot of ladies don't grow. You can find a girl, she's been in every relationship continuously, because by the time she's leaving you, she already has the other person. She might even have multiples going on at the same time. So it's just about letting one go. They call it monkey branching. By the time she letting you go, she already got the next person. By the time she lets you go, and people would say, "Oh, it's about like, like back in the day in the wild they had to," but we cannot deny that's been over maximized now, because that justification, we can say, as a man back in the day, I had a proclivity to just want to procreate. I'm going to screw around anyhow. There's some self control that we have. We live modern times. So you find that a lot of females, they've never really been out of any, like they've never just been by themselves. No guy friend, nobody doing favors that they know likes them, and they're playing dumb like they don't know what's going on. No, just neutral healing, like true healing. A lot of things they use words, they use psychological terms, healing and so forth and so forth. But oftentimes they're never without. But most men, when they're single, most men, they are generally are. When a man's wounded, he's generally healing, he's recovering. Man, no girls for me. And I know some girl would know some man who's a playboy who's always got somebody. That's very, very few. Extremely, extremely few. The majority of guys, when they're wounded, they're down. They are down for the count for now. And then when they come back, that's why you find men who got a little bit of bread, when they're older, they move very differently because they've seen it all, they've been hurt, and they take calculated decisions. So I think that, unfortunately, there's too much validation in the female circles, even for bad behavior, and there's no healing taking place. It's very rare you go meet a female that's generally taking the time to exclude herself from the dating scene, including friends, including whoever, and just go and do the work. That's why good women are extremely rare. You find a good woman. That's why the book of Proverbs talk about that. You find a good woman, that's rare, because it's the pull is natural for them to get online and find advice, and the advice is never sound. I said enough. Peace, love, and blessings.